we'll start the tool in DevOps called Git. We'll call as Git. Okay, and also we'll discuss about Git Bash. Okay, we'll call Git or Git Bash. Okay, or we can right there is we can call it a GitHub. There's another different. Okay, Git or Git Bash, and another one called GitHub. Okay, so let's see that. Okay, yeah, open Notepad. So we will call it as source code repository. So Git is one of the GitHub is one of the source code repository tool or a version control tool or a version control tool. So we'll call it as version control tool. So there are many tools in the market. We have Bitbucket, we have GitLabs, and finally we have GitHub. Finally we have GitHub. So I would say GitHub is a GUI. You will see the pictorial things, right? So GUI, graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. You can see my GitHub. Okay, this is my GitHub. Okay, okay. So we'll call it as GitHub. Okay, right? It's a GUI where your project related folders will be there. Where your project related folders will be there. So we'll call it as GitHub is a GUI and the Git bash is nothing but a CLI. Is nothing but a CLI. So in using this Git bash, using this Git bash, for example, this is a developer. They will use Git bash. This is GitHub. It's a centrally organized folder. Okay. So this developer will install the Git or Git bash in his laptop. Consider this is his laptop. He will download some files or he can upload some files. It's a centrally located place. We will call it as GUI, right? GitHub. GitHub is a GUI. Git bash is a CLI. So how to install Git bash? For example, I am a developer. If I want to install Git bash, you can search for it. Git bash, right? Git bash download, right? You can see, go for downloads, how to install it. Check for Windows, download 64-bit, download 64-bit, right? Click on 64-bit. It is getting downloaded, you can see, right? It's clicked on 2 times, sorry. Right? It is getting downloaded. So once it is downloaded, how to install? Simply click on next. Okay, it is very straightforward. So once it is downloaded, how to open? Wherever you want to open, just right click, open Git bash. Open. As I said, Git bash is a CLI. Git bash is a CLI where you can execute some commands. Git bash is a CLI. CLI. Okay, fine. So Git bash is a CLI. So GitHub is a GUI. So this is my account, Raju SW something, right? So if you want to create your own account, you can go to github.com, open it. If you want to sign in, click on sign in. If you have an account, if you are not having an account, simply click on sign up. Simply click on sign up. Provide your email. So for example, some Raju 845 at the rate gmail.com, right? And click on continue. you should provide some password. So for example, right, provide any password, right, click on continue, provide the username. This is my username, right? Similarly, you can provide your username, some, okay, right? So if you click on continue, if you want to get a email notifications to this email, just select on continue. You have to verify, you have to verify your account, right? You can click on verify the direction of the doll or something, right? Right, so it should be like this, right? Right, it should be, once it is verified, you will get a OTP to your mail. Just click on create account, right, and provide that. So once it is provided, you will be logged in like this, right? This is your account, for example. So in your account, you can see your profile here. You can see your username. You can go to your profile, right? This is my account. Okay, here I have some project folders. Okay, here I have some things, right? So in this, right, in this, I have, right, some folders called repositories. As per GitHub, folder is nothing but a repository. Repository, right? So in that repository, how to create a repository in GitHub? Click on new. Here I have 22 repositories, 23, right? So in the organization, we have a central folder. In that central folder is nothing but a repository, GitHub. This is a repository of GitHub. This is a repo. This is repo. So developers, consider this is one developer. Okay, consider is another. Okay, they can download some files. They can add their changes. They can upload like this. Okay, so this is central place. All the developers will push their code. If it is a DevOps related folder, all the DevOps engineers will upload their files. Okay, we'll call it as a repo. So they can download the term called pull. They can upload the term called push. Okay, so we'll call upload is nothing but push, download is nothing but pull. Okay, pull or push the code, the terms we will see in the organizations. Okay, so folder is nothing but a repository. Version, in the organization you will see the version word, right? Version is nothing but a branch. Branch one, right, is nothing but a version is nothing but a branch. Okay, we'll call it as a branch. So once you have installed git bash, right, each developer will install the git bash in their laptops. Okay, once you have created a GitHub account, once you have created a GitHub account, right, this is one of my repository called Terraform-Jenkins. I have some files here. I have some files here. Okay, right. So if I want to upload, if I want to upload or if I want to download, right? So as a developer, you can use git bash. Where you want to download, please open that folder. For example, on the desktop, I have a folder, right? I have a folder called practice. Within this folder, I want to download this repository. How to download? Open that repository, or if how we can create our own repository, go to repositories, create new, This is my account name, knowledge IT, and this is my repository name called test is my repository. Okay, test project. Okay, and description is optional. Description is optional. Public, private. Public means everyone can download your code. Private means only you can see or only you can download it. Others cannot see. Public means everyone can see. Okay, everyone can see your code. Anyway, so public, that means everyone can see. And I want to add a README file. README means description about your project. Okay, create a repository. When you click on create, it will get created. README.md, right? So, right. So this is the repository. You are a developer. You want to download this. How to download? I just said we have pull option. Pull is nothing but download, right? As I said, right? Push is nothing but upload. If you want to download it, you can use, for example, I want to download this test project. Copy this, click on code, copy this HTTPS URL, copy it, go to your folder, practice, right click, open git bash here option. This way. Okay, here I want to do. So let me use the command git clone, and this HTTPS URL copy and paste. That's it. If you paste it, you can see. If you see earlier, it is not the test project. Now you can see that this is that README file. This is that README file, right? This is that particular README file. So how I download it for the first time? Using the command git clone the project HTTPS URL, right? So for example, someone, for example, this is dev1, this is dev2. Dev2 uploaded some files, okay, into this repository. For example, how to upload using GUI, using git bash, using GitHub. This is GitHub, right? So using GitHub, add a file option. Just click on add a file. Create new file. For example, file name is from Jakaria file, and add some dash. This is Jakaria. This is Jakaria file, right? And commit. Commit means upload. Okay, commit. So commit your changes to the main branch. As I said, branch is here nothing but version, right? Upload to main branch means default version, default. Okay, the file is uploaded. If you see, this is your project folder, test project. You can see ls. Go to the test project. You can see README file only. You are a developer one. You are a developer one. Okay, you are a developer one. Okay, right? You are a developer one. So if you want to, right? For example, if you want to, right? So get the changes of the developer to file Jakaria file. How to get that? Use git pull. As I said, pull is nothing but download, right? Git pull origin, which from which origin? This is the main branch version, main branch origin. Git pull origin main. If you observe that Jakaria file is added. If you want to verify, you can see the Jakaria file, right? Which command I have used? Git pull origin main, right? This is the command I have used, right? So these are the different types, right? These are the two commands. For example, for example, you want to you want to know, right? You want to know, right, your name and email in Git Bash. So right now you are a developer, you are uploading the file. You are another developer is uploading the file. But how you will know who upload the files? They should configure their username and email. How they will configure? By using git config hyphen list. You can see git config hyphen list. What is the username? You can see here it should be configured. Yeah, I configured it. But how to configure username and email? You have to note the command like this: git config. Globally, I want to add username is Raju, and I want to set an email like this: git config global user dot name Raju at the rate, right? Now, if you want to verify, git config verify, right? You can see both. So these will be displayed when whenever you used, whenever you upload some data, right? So these are the commands, right? You will use to download for the first time, get the changes, check your list, add your username and email. But how you will upload a file? For example, this is that file, right? If you worked on some file as a developer, you created a file, dev1 file, you added some data, and you have one file local. This is dev1 file, right? Is this dev1 file there here? No. But how you will upload this? How you will upload this, right? So if you want to upload, first of all verify whether local files are added into this or not. I will call this is local repo. I will call this is remote repo. Why local? It is local to you, right? Local. So if you want to verify local with remote, there is a command git status. What is the difference? The file dev1 file.txt. Dev1 file.txt file is missing, right? This file is missing, right? This file is missing because this file is not there. But how to upload? So I would say, yeah, use the same diagram. So there is a file called dev1. This is that file. Okay, this is that particular file, right? This file is missing in remote. If you want to upload that dev1 file or any file, right? If you want to upload that, you cannot directly upload it. First of all, you need to upload this to a temporary location. This one I would say temporary location. And from the temporary location, you need to create some ID. Once you created an ID, you can upload. So this is some temporary location. Temp. This is some ID. Okay, why we need ID? Uploading each file will have its own ID. Okay, own IDs. Okay, so right. So for identification, for reference purpose. Okay. So if you see here, I created one Jakarta file. This file also have its own ID. This is the ID 63EBBDA. Okay, each file will have its own ID. This is that ID, full information. Right. Anyway, but how I will add this file, dev1 file. Right. If you want to add it, you can use git status to verify the status. Right. Right. If you want to add this file to a temporary location, use the command add. And what is the file name? Dev1. Right. If you see, if you want to upload any file, first of all, you need to upload it to temporary location. If you want to verify now, let's verify. Git status again. Earlier it is in red color. Now it is green color. It is added to a temporary location or a staged location. We can call it temporary or a staged. And after that, you need to create a ID. How to create an ID? Git commit hyphen message. With this message, adding dev file is a message, right? I want to create an ID is created 9D10FF1, right? If you want to download, you're using the command git pull origin main. If you want to upload, the file, use the command git push origin main. So you will got a message like this. You need to click on sign in. It is getting uploaded. It is uploaded. Okay, anyway, you can see git push origin main. It is uploaded with this 63EBBA message ID. And if you go back, if you see refresh, dev1 file.txt, Raj is added. This file. What is the ID? 9D10FF1. The same ID you can see here as well. 90. Right? What are the commands I have used? Right? I have used the command. Right? I uploaded the file using these commands. Let me take this. I checked the status first. After that, I added a file to a temporary location. After that, I checked the status. After that, I created an ID. After that, I pushed, right? Right? This is how you will download the file, you will upload the file. Okay. So there are many things to be discussed. Okay. Just note down I hope you have noted. That's it for today. So thank you. So what we have done yesterday, we started GitHub, right? So as I said, right, in yesterday's session, so we started source code repository tool or a version control tool, right? We'll call it as different tools. We have GitHub, GitLabs, Bitbucket, right? So here GitHub is nothing but GUI, right? So you can see GitHub. So this is my GitHub. Okay, this is my GitHub. This is my account name. Okay, these are my repositories. So repositories are nothing but folders, right? So branch is nothing but a version, right? So as I said, as a developers, what you need to do? So there is a central repository called GitHub. So you have to install Git bash in your laptop, right? And if you want to, you can pull the code. If you want the code, right? You have the different options. You have the different options to do that, right? Right, we can use different options to do that. So yesterday I showed you one of the project, right? For example, repositories list, test project. I uploaded also some files, right? So if you want to download this project folder, you need to click on this code URL, copy the link. Wherever you want to download, just right click, right? For example, right? You have to open Git bash, right? And you can increase the font, use control and plus. Use git clone and that particular URL, okay? Particular URL. So where is that URL? I just copied, right? 1 second. I share it again. Right, I showed how to clone a project. Take the GitHub code URL, HTTPS URL, use git to clone and paste that URL. So then it will be downloaded. If you see, that is downloaded to your current location. Okay, you can see test project, right? So here is it. Right, here you can see that files. 3 files are there. Dev1, some Jakaria file, right? Some readme file, right? Yesterday we created a repository with readme file. So readme file is nothing but a description file. Okay. If someone added a file, for example, someone other developer added a file called dev file, dev1, and he uploaded to the main version, main branch. So as a developer, if you want to get this file, dev1 file, okay. So is that file locally there? Go to the test project CD. The dev is not there, right? Dev1 is there, dev1 file, but this dev1 is not there. You have to use git pull command origin from which branch? Main branch, right? So we have to use main, right? If you see locally, earlier that file is not there. Now if you see, is added. So git pull will pull the changes, right? As yesterday I said, right? Right? So git pull origin main. So if you want to upload some files, so you have to use some commands like this, right? Git status, add the file, add the file, right? So you have to add the file to a temporary location and add a ID, right? And upload it to your repository. So for example, as a developer, you created one file. So this file is some Jenkins file. Okay, this file is not there, Jenkins file, in the central repository. So as I said, so we'll call this is central. This is local, right? We'll call this is right. We'll call this is local. This is we'll call it as central, right? So fine. If you want to verify, you have to verify using git status. Which file is missing? Central location. This particular Jenkins.txt file is missing. If you want to add this file, first of all, you need to add this file to a temporary location or a staged location. This is temp. This is the ID, as I said, right? So as we discussed, yeah, GitHub and Git bash. So if you want to add this, for example, there is one more file called Docker. Okay, there are Docker file and Jenkins file. If this verify the status, Git status, those two files are there, right? So if you want to add both files, if you want to add one file to a staged location, use git add file name. If you want to add more files in your current location, use dot. It will add both the files. If you verify the status again, both are added to a temporary location. Now you can create an ID git commit -m means message adding files. Okay, and how you can upload? It is the ID. This is the ID. Use git push origin main. Main is a main branch. Okay. Now if you verify earlier those two files are not there. If you verify, both are there, right? Jenkins and Docker. What commands I have used? I have used this commands, right? For example, if someone added a file called k8.txt file, so k8.txt file is added with which ID? DA23CC3, right? This ID is added a file called K8. What is the ID? This is the ID, right? If you want to check local with remote, you are using git status, whether local files are there in central or not, right? But if you want to verify, local, right? Central with local, reverse way. That means the files in central are there in local or not. So if you want to verify in reverse, okay, if you observe git status is nothing to there, right? That means what are the files you have in your local are there in the central, right? But if you want to reverse comparison, if you want to verify these files are here or not, there is a command. Which command? Git fetch. Git fetch will not show the list of files, it will show the ID. What is the ID? DA23CC3. So if you observe with this ID only, you uploaded that K8 file. That file is missing. There, locally is the K8 file there? Not there. If you want to get that file, use same git pull origin main. Now that K8 file is added, right? But for example, if you want to fetch again, is that in that case it will show nothing, right? Because that K8 file is already added. If you verify git fetch, nothing. Why? Because it is up to date. It is up to date. Git fetch, right, will help you, right, to see that. Okay. So, right, we have one more option. We have git fork. So what is git fork? So for example, Jenkins GitHub repo. This is Jenkins related GitHub repository. This is a public repo. Okay, this is public repo. That's why we are seeing. I want these files in my repository. You no need to download all these files. You no need to use git add, git status, git commit. No need to do everything. What you can do, you can simply fork it. If you fork it, all the files from other person repository will be created as a repository in your GitHub account. If you see, this is my account, GitHub KnowledgeMate IT. It is created a Jenkins repository, all the files. It is forked from which one's repo? This Jenkins CI Jenkins repo, right? This is for how many members are forked as of now? 8.6K, right? So, right, this is part of your repo. If someone contributed or added some files to this repo in Jenkins account, if you want to get those changes locally, sync. If you have a sync operation, nothing newly added, but right. So if you want to sync it, you can sync it. If you want to add your contribution, you can add it. Okay. Anyway, so fork is helpful for copying other person's repo. Copying other person's repo. So can you notice down up to this? Just note down. I will give some 2 to 3 minutes. Saurabh Srivastav. So please contact management and join, Saurabh. Yeah, just note down. Right. So we have few more options. We have few more options. So we'll call it as branch. We'll call it as branch. So what is branching in Git? So as I said, branch is nothing but one version. So as I said, So Git is a source code or a version control tool. Version control tool. So that means multiple versions can be stored. That means so V1 version, V2 version, V3 version. Okay. So this is for example V1. So this is linked to your application server. This is your application server. It is linked. Okay. This is V2 for example. V2. So once you did all the tests, you will update that version, right? You will not uh, directly change the main application, right? You will do all the changes. For example, this is the another version having chart option. You will not directly update the main version called V1. Why? Because V1 is linked to your application. If you did anything without testing, if you did it in V1, if any issues happen, application is not accessible to customer. So that reason the branching concept came to the picture. So as I said, branch is nothing but a version, right? Branch is nothing but a version, right? So if you want to, right, create a branch, for example, I will add a new file, as I said, chart option file. Okay, I will not add this file. I will commit this file not to the main branch because main branch is linked to my application. I will create a new branch called testing branch. I will propose the changes. To whom I will propose, to whom I will ask to review my code. I will add my manager name here. I will add my manager name here. I will assign it to someone in my organization. I will put down some message like, please review, I did some work, and he will create a request. Once you create a request, it will go to a particular manager review. Once he merged your request, once he confirmed your request, okay, once he confirmed, right? So, right, so you can add it. You can, for example, let's go to test project. So, is that is the chart option file there? Yes. Why? Because we added, right? So let me do one thing. Yeah. You have to ask it. Then once the manager is reviewed, you will add it. Okay. So for example, there is one more option is added. Okay. For example, testing branch. In the testing branch, you can see the chart option, right? So for example, right, this is the chart option. And for example, if you go to main branch, is the chart option there here? Let me add one more file in another branch, for example. Okay, so don't get confused. So you have two branches. One branch is main, another one is testing. In testing branch, you have the chart option. So this is your banking, for example. You have one more file called home loan. Home loan, right? You will commit it not to a main branch, new branch called production, okay, or bug fixing, okay, right? You will go back, okay. Is that is that home loan of file is there? No, but where it is, you will go to bug fix. Here you can see that home loan file. If you want to ask your manager for the review, you can go to contribute, click on contribute, create a pull request. You will ask your manager name, you will add your manager names here, and you will put some text like please review, and you will create a request. Right? So once he approved it, you can merge it. So once you have merged that file, right, home loan file will be added here. You can see it is added. Which we are in which branch? Main branch, right? Actually, initially it is in where? Bug fix, right? So I created a new request, I updated. So how many branches I have? 3 branches. If I want to delete, how I can delete? There is a delete option. You can delete other branches except default or main branch because your application is linked to that. So you cannot delete other branches. If you want to delete it, you cannot delete default branch. Right? If you want to delete bug fix, you can delete. If you want to delete testing branch, you can delete it. Now if you back completely, one branch it is, right? So branch is nothing but a version. So if you want to create a new branch, how we can do that? How we can do an how we can create a new branch? Use git branch name. Git branch name. So how to delete it? How to create a new branch log? In GUI you have this option, right? Adding a file, you are creating a new branch. But CLI, if you want to list down all the branches, git branch -a, there is only main branch. These are remote links. If you want to create a new branch, git branch -a, right? If you want to list down all the branches, git branch -. If you want to create a new branch, git branch, for example, my branch is issue fix. Now, if you want to list down, you can see. And you are in which branch? How you will know? Git branch is a command. You are in which branch? Main branch. If you want to switch to issue fix branch, you can use git checkout issue fix. You can see it changed. If you want to know from command line, you can use git branch. You are in issue fix branch, right? So, for example, in issue fix branch, I created a file called touchcredit.txt file. You can see the status. Not there. You can add it. Staging directory. You can add a message by creating a ID, right? If you want to push this, the command will be git push origin. What is the branch name? Issue fix, right? Issue fix. It is pushed. If you see here, you have one branch, right? The issue fix branch is updated just now. If you refresh, earlier one branch, now two branches. Where is the issue fix? Here is the issue fix. And where is that file having? That file is having credit file, right? Is that main branch having that file? No, right? So if you want, go to issue fix, go to contribute, open pull request, right? Add your managers as a reviewer, create a request. Once they are approved, you can click on merge request. Whenever you click on merge, confirm it. If you go back, is create file is there, right? You have two branches, right? So for example, you are in which branch? You are in issue fix. Again, if you want to go back to main branch, git checkout main and get that credit file. You can use git merge, local merge. You can use git merge which branch? Issue fix. It is locally merged, okay? It is locally merging a branch, git merge branch name. Anyway, so if you want to delete a branch, you can use git branch -, delete issue fix. Now if you verify, if you want to delete a remote branch, this one from the command, how to delete? Git push origin -, delete issue fix. It will delete a remote branch. If you see earlier two branches, if you verify, one branch, that branch is delete, right? So you can, right? You can note down the commands which helps to, right, which helps to create a branch or delete a branch. Just note down, we'll see more commands. This is about branching commands. Just note down up to right. So we will discuss the remaining command in next session. I know this is so we are in the discussion of Git, right? So I hope you guys are practicing. Let me share it. Let me do one thing. So let me connect to GitHub account. Sorry, recording. So, for example, this is the repository, right? So, if you want to upload some data, for example, let me go to profile. Let me go to repositories. So, for example, this is test project. So, let me copy the link. If I want to download to my desktop, what I'm using which command? Git, git clone, right? Git clone is the right. So I have to go open git dash. Right, this is my desktop. So if I want to download that, so git clone and the URL, right? It is getting down the test project. So if I want to go inside, I can use cd, which command test project, right? So now Now, what I can do, now I can do, for example, in my local repository, that means in my folder. uh, So, okay, so this is remote repository we are calling, right? So we're calling, this is a remote, and this is my laptop, I will call it as local. So if I want to download for first time, what I'm doing, I'm using loan, right? Git loan, right? So if I want to upload something, what I'm doing, I'm using git push, right? This is the push. But before doing push, what I'm doing, I'm taking that code, I'm taking that code and pushing into right some temporary location. I'm creating some ID, okay, and I'm pushing that code, right? So this is I'm using some add, I'm adding to staging folder, and after that I'm creating some ID, commit ID, and after that I'm pushing, right? Push. So if I want to download, right, for example, what I'm doing, I'm using pull, right? Someone uploads some code. If I want to download, I'm using. If, for example, this is my repo, my GitHub or remote repo, right? If someone having some repository, if this is other person's repo, right? Others repo. So if I want to download, what I'm doing, if I want to get this same repo to my remote local repo, I'm using into my GitHub. I'm using fourth, right? As I showed you, right? Like this, right? So and also I showed you some branches concepts as well as well, right? So for example, I have one file, I have a D, right? I have a file called uh, some Salesforce dot db. I have one more file called some data science dot java. So right, if I verify git status, it should show those two files because remote level those are not there, right? But but my requirement is I want to ignore this dot Java files. Or I want to ignore this dot DB file. I don't want to upload it to remote. I want to use this for local testing. Okay. So how I can ignore that? You have it. You have to create one file called dot git ignore dot git ignore. So within this file, you have to add whatever the files you want to ignore. So for example, like this. So if you want to ignore all the DB files, you can use star. Star means all the DB files will leave. If you see status, is that Salesforce DB file there? Not. But you can see that dot ignore because you are adding for the first time. So if you want to upload, same process, git add. If you see warnings, ignore it, run the same command again. Commit hyphen and adding, okay, git push origin name. So this is how you're adding the right ignore files. If you see, if you refresh, you can see that in the ignore file, you can see that some change, right? So this is how you will add your add your changes, right? For the git ignore. So just note down the git ignore file how to create. Just note down git ignore the meaning. For example, if you have list of commits, how you can list down? You have git log is a commit. Git log will show you all the list of commits in your GitHub repository. You can see history right here, 15 commits. So these 15 commits, if you want to see it from list from the history, right? You have a command git log. There you can see who uploaded, author, at which date they uploaded, date, and the message, what the message they put, right? So hyphen m message, right? So if you want to find out the difference between two logs, two commits, you can use git diff one commit ID space another commit ID. That means so two different persons uploads two files, two commits. Everything will be created as a commit in GitHub. Everything will be committed as a commit. Okay. So 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 what we are basically doing here. So we are finding out the difference between two commits. So for example, this home loan commit and some chart option commit. There are two commits. If you want to find out the difference between these two, you have to copy the commit ID, git diff one commit ID with another commit ID home loan. Okay. So what is the difference? New file. Which new file? Home loan file. So that means within this commit, this home loan file not there. This home loan file not there. So that is the difference between both the two. Okay, because this new commit have it. Right? That's why. Right? The difference is showing this commit is not having home loan file. So that home loan file in this commit. Similarly, you can find out the difference between two branches also. There is a command called git diff the commit branch one branch with another branch. Okay, right? So if you want to see the logs, you can use git log is a command. You can use git to show command. Git to show is a command which will show you right last commit, last commit. Okay, and if you want to see a particular commit ID, you can use git show commit ID. If you want to find out the difference between branches, git diff one branch, another branch, git diff one commit ID, another commit ID, right? So like that. Okay, like so this is about the git ignore, and this is about the difference in okay. Okay, so just note down up to this. Just note down up to this. Okay, I hope you have written. So let's discuss the one more concept called Git RN and Git stash. So for example, if you see Git status, everything is up to date, clean. So if you want to add some files, how you are adding? Git touch, some Apple, some Belly. Okay. So there are two files. Okay, two files. So but I committed anyway. I committed this git commit. I added these two files, right? Git added. So what are the reason I added two files, but I don't want this berry file. Okay. So how I can remove from a staging directory? I added to a staging directory by using add command, but I don't want. If you want to remove git rm is a command. Git rm, the particular file will be whatever you want to remove. You have to use hyphen f forcefully remove that. You have to forcefully remove that. Okay. So now if you see git status, it is right. So for example, so why I can't directly remove from this? For example, if I remove directly like this, if I verify status now, there is a one more commit created for deletion also, right? You see, if I manually delete, it will be like right. There is one more commit. Let me revert back. The status it is back. So if I remove like this, git rm apple hyphen f. If I remove like this, if I check the status, it is clean, right? So that's why we are using git rm. Git rm file name. What are the file you want to do? Fine, right? So just note down git rm and the file. So take your time. Just note. Okay, I hope you have written. So now we have one more concept called Git stashing. So what is Git stashing? So Git stashing is nothing but you have a branch, Git branch, production. Okay, you switch to that branch, Git checkout, production. Okay, so you have one more branch. You are working on that branch. You have some files. That's for example, dog, cat. There are some files. Okay, right? It should be in production batch, right? You can see it should be in the production batch, right? Dog and the cat. But if I didn't committed anything, I just simply switched it. My manager want me to work on my main branch. Git checkout. When I went to main branch, if I check that, I can still see that files. But these files are in production branch. So if you are working on one branch, if you are working on one branch, so if you want to store your changes at some place, while switching to another branch, you have a option called git stash. Git stash. You can see here when I go to test project, there is a file, hidden files. You can see hidden items. There is a git.git file. So this .git file will have all the references. Will have all the references to other files. Will have all the references. So how this remote repository reference is created by using this .git file. This is a hidden file. Okay, this hidden file will have the references to the remote repository. So for example, git stash if you did like this. Okay, git stash if you did like this. Okay, so before that you have to okay git status. So if you added this files git add the you check the status. If you added this in a stash, there is a ID is created. Are you seeing those cat and dog file in production? No. If you switch to main branch, git checkout, we can call master or we can call it as main. If you switch to that main, if you verify, is that files are there? Nothing. Again, if you go back, production, if you see that, no. But how we can get those changes? You are using git stash to store your changes in some file where it is. If you go to .git, you go to references. This is the stash file. Okay. If I use git stash populate. Now if you verify, those files are back. Now if you see locally ls, you can see that file is there. It is removed. If you want again store the changes at some place, you can use git stash. Now if you verify cat and dog files, dog file, cat, both are not. Now if you see here, the reference file is created. So in this file, these are stored. These files are stored. If you get back those, if you want to get back those changes, you have to use git stash. If you want to store it, git stash. If you want to revert back, git stash. Pop. Git stash. Pop is a okay. Just note down this stashing. If you want to work on different branches, you have to use git stash. So just note down. You'll see that. right? So we have git stash, we have git path, right? So for example, we have one more concept called git tags. Git tags. So as is right, I can say that git tags are read-only purpose. Git tags are read-only purpose. So what we can do with this? Git tags are read-only purpose. So that means so you let me go back to main branch git checkout main. Right? So you have this right. You have this files. You have this for example you have production branch. Let me check out production. Okay, I have many branches like for testing, for fixing issues. So every time if I upload these branches, right? So here it will right. It is hard to write reference. Right? So we have tags. You can see. So what are these? What these tags are? You can create a release with your nodes. Okay. So what these tags are? The tags are helpful for read-only purpose. Okay, you can add binaries, you can add your links, you can add your nodes. So whenever you are releasing new version, you can add. But how to create a new tag with your current code, current changes? You have git to tag name. Git to tag, for example, I want to create tag of prod tag with the production branch. Okay. If I did that, if I list the tags using git to tag, there is one tag. If you want to push this tag, git push origin prod tag. Earlier, how many tags are there? Nothing. If you refresh, one tag. So for this tag, if you want to add a release notes, create a release notes from a tag. So you can add a name, right? For example, this is having some Git testing files or Jenkins testing files. Okay, you can add. Okay, you can add it to this. So people who are new to this, right, who don't know about the latest version, latest update, they can review these notes. If they want to download the code, they can download it, right? If they want to download it, they can download it, right? So for example, if you want to remove a tag, git push origin. What is the tag name? We have to provide hyphen delete. The tag name is prod. It is in, right. If you observe here, if you observe, it's in, right. But the release note still will be there. We have to manually do it, the release notes. Okay. So now if you verify locally git to tag, still there. If you want to remove locally, git push origin tag. Yeah, there are a lot of things comes into the picture, like git cherry pick, some options. Okay, so which are not required. Okay, we have git cherry pick. So git cherry pick is helpful to pick a particular commit. Okay, so yeah, it means choosing a commit from one branch, applying it to another branch. Okay, so if you whatever branch you want to switch, you want to switch, and if you want to apply that particular commit, okay, you can git cherry pick and the commit. So right, so for example, git status. So git let me do one thing. Uh, I can add two files with two branches, two commits. For example, touch to mark k git git adding the file git push origin production. Now we can use git push right? It is added. So this is added with this committed, right? You have one more. So for example, git add touch, sorry, touch Raj K Kumar K or some the D. Okay, so git add, git commit, and some changes. Yes, git push origin, production. So two commits. This is one commit. This is one. If you want to go to main branch with checkout, now if you verify, is that Prasad file is there? So if you want to add only Prasad file, that particular commit, Prasad linked commit, right? So you can use git cherry pick, okay, git cherry hyphen pick commit ID. For example, here if you go to production, here if you see the commits, take the commit ID, git cherry hyphen pick commit ID. Now if you see locally, Prasad, where it is under. If you want to pick a particular commit, right, you have to use that particular, right? So you have to switch your main branch or a master branch. You have to do right. So this is how, right. This is how we work with Cherry, right? So there are many more. Okay. So you don't have to worry about it. You are not a Git administrator. You are a DevOps engineer. Okay. DevOps engineer. So now you have a main branch. For example, you check out master main server, production. You have this production branch. Someone from the team worked on under production. Someone worked on this dev1 file. Okay, they added some text. Okay, and someone added like first person change. First person added apple. Okay, for example, the line. Okay, someone added apple, and someone added in the dev1 file some lemon. So two persons worked on same file, same line. Okay, he's also trying to add the git commit right, and adding. Okay, so someone trying to add the file. Okay, they're trying to push it. Git push origin production. So if two persons working on the same file, same line, right? So it will throw a conflict error. We'll call it as conflict. We call it as conflict error. So, but how you fix this conflict error? So they're both persons who are working on that same file. They need to communicate. They need to connect over a call. They have to find out which is actual change. They have to someone have to pull the code like this git pull origin production. They have to verify that it is changed to some fixed version. They have to log into that particular file. You can see both person changes. They have to verify which one is actual change or both changes are required. They need to fix it. They need to save it, and now they need to add that change. Git commit. They need to. That means two person needs to be communicated. Okay. Whenever you see this kind of error, right? Yeah, right. You have to verify, right, by pulling the changes. Git pull origin production. Git pull origin particular branch. Okay. Git push origin production. Now you will not see the error because we fixed it. Right? We fixed it. So this is now this guy will have both the changes. Right? So whenever you see conflict error, both the persons needs to be communicated and fixed there, right? And there are some tools also to fix the Git merge tool, but yeah, that is most less people are using. And yeah, so that's about some Git commands. Okay, Git commands. So right, so just try this Git. I shared some notes, material already. Please go through it. Okay. So, so that's it. Thank you.